Enter Talks.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is David Kirilyuk, and this is Enter Talks, where we talk about business, real transactions, and how buyers and sellers make smart decisions with confidence. Before we begin, a quick clarity statement. I work as a business and transaction advisor and a real estate investor. I am acting as not licensed real estate agent or broker, and I do not provide legal or financial advice. When a transaction requires licensed professionals, I coordinate closely with attorneys, CPAs, and licensed brokers to make sure everything is handled properly. Most people think the hard part of a business deal is getting an offer. In reality, the most dangerous part is the final stretch, closing. Because closing is when pressure increases, timelines tighten, and small issues suddenly become deal breakers. And here's the truth. Most deals do not fall apart because the business is bad. They fall apart because the process was not managed. Contingencies were not handled. Expectations were not aligned, or the transaction was not organized. That's why the final phase matters so much, and that's exactly where experience, guidance protects both sides. Quick reminder, subscribe to Enter Talks, like this video, comment below. Are you on the buying side or on the selling side? Closing isn't just signing papers. Closing is the moment ownership transfers, the buyer takes over, funds move, and agreements become real. Think of it like a real estate closing. There is preparation, documentation, verification, and a specific moment where everything becomes official. But a business closing can involve more moving parts like equipment, employees, vendor accounts, leases, and operational handoff. So that goal isn't a get to closing fast. The goal is get to closing clearly, with fewer surprises and less risks. One word explains why most closing slow down. Contingencies. A contingency is simply something that must be resolved before the deal can legally and ethically close. And contingencies are normal. They do not mean the deal is weak. They mean the deal is being handled seriously. The most common contingencies usually fall into three categories. Number one, due diligence. Second, financing. And third, lease or landlord approval assignment. If those are not managed correctly, the deal drifts, tensions rises, and both sides start doubting the outcome. My role is to keep those items organized, prioritize, and resolve in the right order, so the transaction stays stable. Financing is one of the most sensitive parts of the transaction because it determines whether the buyer can actually perform. For sellers, it's not enough for buyers to sound confident. For buyers, it's not enough to want the business. The closing phase requires clarity around how the deal is funded and whether the buyer can execute under the agreed terms. This is where structure matters and why deals must be managed professionally. When financing is handled the right way, it reduces stress, reduces delays, and creates confidence on both sides. If the business operates in a lease space, there is usually one extra party who matters a lot: the landlord. Lease assignment or lease approval is often a quiet deal breaker, not because anyone or anything wrong, but because it's a required step that must be handled properly. Sellers want a clear transfer. Buyers want terms they can live with it. Landlords want confidence in the new operator. When this part is treated casually, it creates friction. When it's handled professionally, it becomes a normal step, not a crisis. If this is useful, make sure you are subscribed to Enter Talks and hit like. A professional closing should feel calm. It should not feel chaotic, emotional, or confusing. By the time closing day arrives, the goal is that key documents are ready, funds have been verified, contingencies have been cleared, everyone knows the agenda, and the right professionals are involved when needed. My job at that stage is to keep the process organized, keep communication clear, and help both sides stay focused on execution, not emotions. Because closing day is usually quick, but only when everything before it was handled correctly. Most people think once the papers are signed, the work is done. But real professionals know post-closing follow-up is a part of the service. Following up matters because it confirms the transaction is going smoothly, builds long-term trust, creates referrals, and protects your reputation. For sellers, it's a closure. For buyers, it's the start of a new responsibility. A quick check-in at the right time can prevent confusion, reduce stress, and keep relationships strong. And relationships are what create future opportunity. I work best with buyers and sellers who value preparation, clear process, discretion, and professional execution. If someone is looking for shortcuts, pressure, or chaos, I am not the right fit. But if you want a steady advisor who protects your interests, help you avoid costly mistakes, and keeps transactions organized from start to finish, that's exactly what I do.
Enter Talks.
If you are preparing to buy or sell a business, or you are in the middle of deal and want experience guidance through the closing phase, reach out. A short conversation is usually enough to determine the smartest next step. This is Enter Talks. I am David Kirilyuk. Like, subscribe, and comment below whether you are buying or selling, and I'll see you in the next one.